Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. So today's state of the game was actually, in my opinion, one of the better state of the games that I've seen in the division as a whole. And right now we're talking of over 100 plus state of the games that the developers have held. And so there are a few things that they discussed. They talked about bugs, errors, people being kicked out. If you guys noticed, I think yesterday Craig G put out a video about the servers and logging and being very slow. On PC here, the only issues I've experienced were logging and being slow, and I've gotten kicked out about twice. And so I can definitely confirm that that was a thing happening. Depending on the platform you were playing on. And so the developers are talking about how they're going to fix that. And so hopefully we get a good fix for it. But one of the biggest highlights of the state of the game today, and I would say it was the biggest highlight of the state of the game today, were the skills. And skill power has been, and skill mods and skill builds have been on the back burner for a while. And I genuinely think the developers, after a lot of work, they had one of their developers that have been working on skills eventually come forward and talk about the changes that are involved. I'm telling you, I personally know people that are going to be super excited about this. They're probably going to give me money for talking about it. I mean, that's how excited they are. They're just going to lose their minds when they see the improvement of this, the skill awareness. Now, yesterday I made a video that I wanted to actually put out today. So the video that you saw today about resource management was actually not the video I intended to put out today. I wanted to put out a video about addressing the new skill drops. Lately we've been seeing a lot of skill power drops. And in that video somewhere, I'm going to just cut a clip and put it for you guys. I mentioned something around the fact that the developers may have increased the amount of skill drops because there's probably something that they want to do in improving skills, and they're giving us a lifeline for us to gather a bunch of our skill builds items right now so that when the patch rolls in, because there's going to be a PTS before that patch, we are prepared to go. If those of us that want to build our skill builds, we are ready to have them. And so over the course of this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut the clips and the highlights that really make this state of the game a landmark decision and game changer within the Tom Clancy Division 2 game. Now, regarding the PvP side of the game, I was looking on the Twitch streams. People were asking questions about the other things on PvP, and they did not address anything. And I think the reason I know why is because there was no one there to address PvP issues. Usually, if you're going to hear anything PvP, you're probably going to see someone like Terry or some guys from Red Storm address specific issues that relate to PvP. So I would say in that aspect, maybe they veered away from it. But I mean, I'm not giving excuses for them, but I'm just saying whenever I don't see Terry, I don't expect to hear anything about PvP. So what we're going to jump into right now is pretty much the improvement to skills. And they showed some of their lab stuff, some of the things that they do in their QA sessions, and skills are most likely going to be getting anywhere from a 50, even more % increase in their effectiveness, their time to kill, and time to actually hold back damage in the case of the shield. So enough talk. I'm going to go ahead and roll the clip for you guys. Thank you very much for watching the video. I really appreciate you guys so much. This is really exciting news for me, and I'm sure it's exciting news for a lot of you. And I'm going to get out of your hair right now. Peace.
It all really started with taking a very rational look at what weapon damage is right now in the game and in terms of the meta, and it's quite high. There's lots of builds out there floating around where you can do upwards of 2 to 3 million DPS with an assault rifle build, for instance. Okay. So we use that as kind of like a metric and a high watermark, and then what we then did is we got together as a group, myself, Frederick, Casper, Gustav, designers, and we said, okay, how do we bring skills close to that high watermark as much as possible?
So not bringing the weapons down, but bringing
so without nerfing weapons in any way whatsoever, how do we get a 100% dedicated skill build up to that kind of power delta?
Right.
And it was a process, and it was a fun process because it really allowed us to kind of take I guess like a holistic look at skills, their behavior, how they currently exist, how we would want them to exist, and then really kind of like essentially establishing identities and profiles for skills based off of our intentions, and then going from a sort of top-down approach initially to figure out like, okay, how do we achieve that? So maybe, well, to make a long story short, it meant buffing skill mods, making them do go from doing let's say you have 3,000 skill power, for instance, on live in TU4 right now. You could buff your turret. Let me check my cheat sheet, which is a document made for ants. So the old turret, a skill mod that buffs the damage on a turret, for instance, could go up to about 25 to 30%. That's how much you can increase the base turret damage by. Now that same mod, if you've got 3,000 skill power, will increase its damage by up to 150%. So that's a large increase, which
It's a big difference.
sounds pretty crazy, but that's what we had to do to shrink the power delta between weapon damage and skill platform damage.
Okay. As long as you don't say no nerfs, only buffs, then I'm happy. Otherwise, I have to like punch you in the throat.
Wow, Jesus, you're a
I'm
you're
here,
a vegan?
I'm here for the community, man. Like I gotta do right by them.
Good on you. Good on you.
And I've always wanted to punch you in the throat. I
Wow.
kid, Bruce. I'm sorry.
Jesus. Is it because I'm a flexitarian? Is that what this is all about?
Okay.
No,
Okay.
let's-
Okay. No.
Okay, back on track.
Full disclosure, Bruce and I are friends outside of work, but I'm not. I love you. All right.
I love you too.
Yeah, so this is the big change. Scaling is entirely different. That pertains not just to like the DPS, well, the power, but like haste as well. What's happening in that regard?
Yeah, so we shrunk we try to eliminate the large discrepancy in power between weapons and skill platforms, and I think we've achieved that. There's more to skills though than just damage. So we also looked at cooldowns and how effective the current cooldown reduction system was, and it was very, very easy to achieve the 90% cap and get your skills down to 10 seconds. This is a problematic situation. So what we've done is we've essentially changed cooldown reduction to skill haste, which is something that goes way above 100%, and is a much healthier system for sort of the overall integrity of the game in the short and long term. But it does mean that right now when people log into the PTS, for instance, they will notice that the skill cooldowns are higher than they would have been otherwise with the same gear that you have.
Yeah.
However,
because people don't use any skill power.
for sure, or cooldown reduction because they're just not running skills.
Yeah.
However, we've done a few things to balance this overall. So all cooldown reduction that's currently on your gear right now is going to be renamed and rebranded to skill haste. We're also increasing the value. So cooldown reduction becomes skill haste, and we've increased the value on your gear. We've buffed your now skill haste by 33%. So it's significant. It's significant. And we can, I guess, segue from this into what's really interesting about the new cooldown reduction system in particular, and skill power and how things scale. So now skill haste really does scale with your skill power. So if you have a lot of skill power, like let's say 2,000 or more, and you have a lot of cooldown on your gear, skill haste on your gear, which I have a build internally with just my gear and talents. I have 135 skill haste, 135% skill haste. And now with 3,000 skill power, you can then plug in cooldown reduction mods, which previously existed, but now instead of reducing cooldowns by 40 or 50%, some of them reduce cooldowns by up to 200%.
Do the mods say skill haste or cooldown reduction?
Skill haste.
Cool.
So I'm probably going to make a dog's breakfast of cooldown reduction and skill haste because I'm still even myself.
But after TU5, cooldown reduction does not exist at all.
No.
It is all skill haste.
It will forever be known as skill haste.
Gotcha.
Cooldown reduction is dead. Long live cooldown reduction.
All right. Long live. No. Skill haste.
Yeah. That's a weird expression.
Numbers, schmumbers, Bruce. You captured some videos for us, and then Kervin and I made them into some comparisons, because I think that's where the true changes lie. Can we take a look at the first comparison video, which I think, what are we showing here? Seeker Mine?
This is the new Seeker Mine. Well, there's the before and after.
Cool. We'll actually loop this because I think it's important to watch a few times. So what you can see here is Bruce doing some testing in one of the gyms, which is what we do on the development side.
Yeah.
You see time to kill on the left, the TTK, and the player's time to be killed. Obviously, that's not what we're testing here.
Yeah, ignore TTK here. I mean, yeah, could have shot that guy in the head with his little sliver of health a lot sooner.
Yeah.
But you can see that the old Seeker Mind is taking off roughly, if I'm not mistaken.
Takes about double the time.
Well, it's about two. It was taking 2 armor bars off of that named elite enemy. The new one is bringing it right down to a sliver of health. And
That's a big change.
This is, I want to stress the fact that this is without me or my character wearing any gear that further boosts explosive damage. I don't even think I was a demolitionist at the moment.
Okay.
So you can do quite a lot of damage with explosive skills.
Okay, this is going to be on the PTS. I'm really glad that we're testing this stuff on the PTS before it goes into the live game, because these are big changes.
Now, if we switch to the next one,
Right, so yeah, the second comparison is...
the Bombardier drone.
Ooh. Okay.
So this one really kind of, I think, encapsulates the difference, because I think it was like, again, a couple of armor bars off on before. Now he's being essentially one shot.
Yeah.
And it's the first bomb that actually kills him. The Bombardier drone is dropping 2 bombs. So it's a lot of damage.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting though. And again, I would stress, please do test this out on the PTS, which is going live next week. We really need a lot of feedback on these, and we can and we do test these things internally, but there is nothing better than big data.
Yeah.
Like the more information we have, the better we can.
It's good to
tweak
stress
these
that this is. We've done our best to get the numbers to where they are. We've worked really hard the last few weeks to get things in the current state. But it doesn't change the fact that now we've got an opportunity to really dial things in and get them where they need to be. I can tell you right now that certain things might feel a little bit underwhelming. Some things are probably going to feel a little bit overwhelming. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we want to nerf the overwhelming things, but we want to make sure that we have a healthy eco state of the game.
Whoa, just like that.
Like that.
10 out of 10.
Should we show the...
We have 3 more videos. I love this. This
yeah,
is so
let's show
good.
the turret. The turret is... I love
it the third one?
I love the turret. I think the turret is
Whatever
the
the third one is.
Let's
we'll,
queue up the third one.
Yeah. This one... oh yeah, this is cool. So yeah, the deploy time.
Yeah, so this one gives definitely, like, look at the time to kill. 4 seconds to 0.9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big change.
It's significant. It's significant.
Very cool.
How about what's the next one?
Yeah, if we take a video, look at video number 4.
Yep, this one's great too.
Okay, let's, we'll,
So the intention, what I was trying to do here was show you how you can, because the thing that we haven't really talked about yet is how skills, it's not, you don't just have one skill, you've got 2, right? So there's a lot of synergy and there's a lot of opportunity here. And one thing that you can do in particular, and this goes back to how we wanted to, or how we approached the rebalance, is from a top-down perspective of what kind of builds do we want to encourage and what kind of builds do we want the players to be able to do based off of different kind of skill combinations. And one option in particular is to be very focused on doing single target damage with skill platforms. And a good way to do that is with the assault turret and the striker drone.
interesting.
And the interesting thing about this before and after is that in the after footage, the turret killed the heavy so quickly that the striker drone didn't even really have an opportunity to attack it. So I just kind of like let the footage roll, and you can see that a striker drone can now kill a heavy in, what was it, 9 seconds?
Yeah, I was going to say, the turret's not even out yet.
I destroyed the turret. Do we have, oh, you guys might have clipped it? I
Possibly.
Yeah.
But interesting. Cool.
Okay, yeah, so there's a slight, yeah, it's only the drone. Initially, it was meant to be, yeah, so the turret with the striker drone killed the heavy in like 2 or 3 seconds.
Okay.
Right? And now, so this is, okay, another caveat or another thing to keep in mind, or something to consider for everyone in chat, is that what you're looking at are enemies that are scaled for normal difficulty right now, which is a bit misleading.
Okay.
You're not going to be melting heavy tanks, chonkers, in heroic missions.
Sure.
Or Chungus, is that the
big
term?
Chungus?
The big Chungus, the Chungai.
Chunguses?
So, but we've tested this internally, and the skills they feel with 3,000 skill power, they melt things in normal and hard, and even challenging becomes a bit of a. But that's the thing. If you have the equivalent of 3,000 skill power, if you have that kind of a power delta with a weapon, you're melting all that content regardless as well, right? So that was the whole point. That's the intention, is to get skills up to the power threshold that a weapon build has.
It'd be awesome to see some build diversity. I think that'd be really cool.
And again, I want to stress one more point though, is that at the end of the day, weapons are always going to be the kings of sustained single target DPS, because that's what they do. And there's multipliers built into the weapon system, like headshot damage and crits and all that stuff that the skill platforms don't do, right? So I don't want our players to think that, oh, they're just going to make the game all about throwing auto turrets and you just let the game play itself. No, at the end of the day, solid FPS is going to be landing solid headshots and melting fools. But his buddy can rock a skill build and feel like he's contributing.
Cool. All right, I like that. Actually, we haven't shown one video. What's the last one that we have? This comparison. Oh, I love this.
The shield is back.
The time to be killed. So, there you go.
Keeps on going.
Yeah, there you go. Time to be killed is what? Yeah, we actually had to add a frame hold in here because this is going to be.
This goes on and on.
It's going to take a little while here.
Yeah.
I like it. Very cool. Yeah, like I said, I can't wait to see what builds people go with. And again, I would stress, make sure you get yourself on the PTS to test these things out.
Give us data.
Data and theory crafting is so cool. And the more people that are on the PTS, the more data we can get.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about that. Yeah. Well, we're already over time, but this is a lot of fun.
This has been great.
It's been really cool. I think it's probably time to head into some agent highlights for the week, and I found some really cool ones on